in the early part of 2020, these crazy things started happening, right? I started having these resonances that were different from what I'd had for a while. And I kept getting all of this really intense stuff that was coming up and attracting me from a particular part of the Ukraine. And it had very specific cultural references that I had not been ever exposed to ever. And it was very, very significant, very adroit. And it happened for a couple of months. And then I kept having these concurrences where I would be like meditating or maybe even praying. And then things would happen. And the language I was dealing with was not English. Let's put it that way. There was this article, I have it here, about how a Ukraine police official asked for a list of all Orthodox Jews in Colombia. Understanding was, and there's a picture here of what looks to be a summons. And the implication is that the National Police Department demanded from the Jewish community of Colombia to provide police the list of all Jews with addresses and mobile phones and Jewish students and universities with addresses and phones. It is explained as a fight against transnational criminal gangs. Now, my understanding is this is not the first time something like this has happened. And, you know, these concurrences, how much of it's a psyop that's aimed at some sort of illegal future speculation, right? And how much of it's actually that on. Well, the thing is, before this information was published, it was, you wouldn't believe the concurrences, and it didn't make literal sense, right? Because all of that stuff was supposed to be something that wasn't accurate. Well, my mother has her birthday in June. My mother died 2 years ago. And so what happened was this year, I was doing some research about genetic engineering and this understanding I have that somebody has been targeting specific kinds of genotypes. It's part of some theory. Somebody has this ideation that they're going to harvest different genotypes in order to create specific kinds of genetically engineered sequencing. And the ideation is that somehow you're going to be able to develop a genetic combination that can withstand a nuclear attack. Somebody has this higher idea that, well, you know, we're going to actually be able to engineer people to be able to withstand an actual nuclear attack. And that, you know, there's certain people that, for whatever reason, they seem to. Okay, well, here's the problem, right? Is just right now, this is what it says. For the same day, a year after, I was looking at this that article on June 26th with other information, including other information about what were I would have considered to be evidentiary of this theory, right? Well, dated for the same day, I was looking that information up, but the year before, Nevada Energy Department settled fight over secret plutonium. See, this is about this case that has been happening where there was weapons grade plutonium originally stored in South Carolina. You know where South Carolina is? It's that place that has that nuclear power plant that is involved with the same kind of company and setup that was that deal going on in upstate New York when Westinghouse Electric went bankrupt. Remember? And there's been all of these allegations, or rather these concerns, that there's an actual crack. There's cracking in the foundation at the nuclear power plant, and they just don't want to deal with it. And around the time that these revelations started coming out about this problem with this nuclear power plant in South Carolina, all of a sudden there's this secret shipment of weapons grade plutonium from South Carolina to Las fucking Vegas. And see, you know, it's one of those things where, I mean, uranium smuggling is one thing, but I know what it means when you go plutonium, right? So when are you going to stop this? You know, you can say something about how you're an energy, and nuclear energy is green energy. You don't make nuclear energy with plutonium. You don't make nuclear energy with fucking plutonium. And see, On another level, whatever you want to say about how offended you are, or how disappointed you are that I don't see for whatever reason why your predicament or your priorities should take precedence over any other fucking thing I could do in my life. You, under no circumstances, are allowed to speculate on sex and plutonium. You're not allowed to do that. And every time you get caught, it's terrorism. Every time you get caught, it's capital terrorism. It doesn't matter if it's the president. It sure as fuck doesn't matter if it's the president who authored the fucking bill making an explicit law about radioactive materials and smuggling radioactive materials as being a form of capital terrorism. Do you understand? If you think what you're doing right now is somehow authorized by the President of the United States, there is no immunity for capital terrorism. That's what this is, by the letter of the law. You don't make simulations up about your girls providing entertainment while you're trying to hook up deals on weapons-grade plutonium. You don't. There's never any circumstance under which it's acceptable. It's capital terrorism. Do you understand? Do you understand how completely unacceptable it is every single fucking time? You don't make a joke. You don't make a deal. You sure as fuck don't make a threat.